And speaking of the climate, let's check in with Sean Quinn for our weather. People are gearing up for holidays and they want to know what Thanksgiving looks like.
That forecast looks to be dry, just like we're seeing right now. A beautiful night across Santa Barbara, Stearns Wharf. Could see a little bit of fog, although we're turning the channels right now. We're kind of going to a more drier and even breezy, windy forecast. There's still a little bit of moisture lingering out there. So look at the humidity at 94%. I noticed looking south from Santa Barbara tonight that you can see a lot of haze out there. So until that wind does kick into gear with our little wind advisory right here, the usual suspects along the south coast and some of the mountain areas could be the next couple of nights into early mornings. We'll be watching these, but if those winds are sort of hit and miss, little pockets of moisture could produce some low-lying and even dense fog in some areas. Today's high, we definitely went down a few degrees in many areas, especially around Santa Maria, where you dropped right back to your normal. Yesterday, up into the 70s and even close to 80 degrees, dropping back down into those high 60s. No threats to the records on either end of the spectrum. 180 today, 82 today, and that was Ojai. Yesterday we knocked out a couple more as it was a really warm, beautiful Saturday. So Sunday we expected to see the drop, and that's exactly what we're getting. Reason being a passing cold front to our north. Currently seeing 50s, a few 60s out there, still kind of lingering. There's that little sign that you might be getting the wind in Gaviota, where you're about 11 degrees above your neighbors to the east in Goleta. So that shows us that we might be starting to see that little north wind as you get the compressional heating. It also dries you out. So those areas that are not getting those winds, look at this. You can see Gaviota probably almost guarantee you will not see any fog there, but you might get a little bit of that patchy cloudiness. Santa Barbara, Goleta, back down into the Oxnard Plain, and as well up through Lompoc and as well Santa Maria. So get you that little microclimatology. And speaking of that, been hearing a lot about La Nina. Well, basically, to make this about as easy to understand, is that the equatorial waters of the Pacific will get a little cooler than normal. They already are, and there's a whole bunch of variables that play into this. But as we push the button and bring it back to our areas, we go a little farther to the north. What happens is your storm track gets firmly locked sort of into gear, and it's not over us. It stays mainly to the north in the higher latitudes, and the energy tends to push down from the north. That is our dry sort of pattern, and that's exactly what we're seeing as another Pacific storm barrels into the Pacific Northwest, and as it does, giving them plenty of showers, snow, much needed rainfall. You know, Oregon was definitely stressed with their fire issues. Now that is gone. Extreme Northern California can also see some of that energy as it barrels in, but for us, what ends up happening is the moisture just stays too far to our north, and we get just little teases of it, and we end up seeing the wind, dry, mild conditions. We're expecting that through the next several days, and perhaps all the way through November and even early December looks to see not much in the way of any big changes. So watching the FUTURECAST, you can see those little swipes of moisture kind of running at the region. For us, though, it's that northerly flow. Look how blue and clear the skies stay off much of central and even Northern California over the next several days. As far as future rainfall, one more time, we get to see all that beautiful rainfall staying well up into Oregon, Washington, and just extreme Northern California over at least the next few days, perhaps even the next several days. Marine there will try to make a little run at us sometimes over the next couple of days, but for the most part, with that offshore flow at the mid and upper levels, it tends to gouge out the marine there. And watching the north wind, there it is along the San Ynez, and then it turns a little northeast at times, and that's the Santa Ana direction that you see for Ventura County and then going down into Southern California. Your highs on Monday, look at that, kind of cool and brisk. Of course, the south coast with that north wind can be a tad bit warmer into the 70s, but this is not a warm event, so I guess that's the good news. Although fire danger will definitely ramp up despite the fact that we're not expecting a big warm up with a north or a northeasterly flow. And there are your temperatures one more time with those northerly winds. Typically a little bit warmer for Santa Barbara and the south coast. Some of your beaches right on the sand will likely be a little cooler. Mostly sunny north winds and along the mountains and canyons for those areas north and west of Point Conception and all the way up. And of course, as we head back down and east and south, same story there. Watch those winds go a little bit northeasterly at times, keeping it very dry across the region. A little bit of surf out there, combo wind swell and some ground swell. And a quick look at our forecast maps. We'll see if we can knock a couple of these out real quick. It stays very quiet and dry through Thanksgiving. Into that last weekend of November, we don't don't see a whole lot of changes, just a little warm up for Saturday and Sunday. And as we look, and we'll get ready to send it to break, no much needed rain is seen anytime soon. We'll be right back in just a minute. Please stay tuned.